Hello, everyone. Okay, let's give it some time for everybody to tune in. This is Dr. Mughal here, and we are in our second episode of the Align Entrepreneur. And the Align Entrepreneur is basically a program that wants to create entrepreneurs who do not only just grow a business which thrives and sustainable, but also helps them to grow in the personal front and also in personal involvement. So that is the principle behind it. We are launching it first time in August. So later you can catch up with the details. I'll put up the link there. And I am super excited today because, when they say when your intention is so aligned to what you want, the universe works along with you. And I have been super lucky to get these two amazing ladies to join us today. It's just I'm so excited. I can't find a synonym for excited, so I'm just gonna keep repeating the excited, so forgive me for that. So these two ladies, they are amazing in their own ways. They're courageous to be who they are, and they're confident to lead a path in their own terms. And the clarity of vision they have, it's inspiring. And I have been following them for some time and admiring their courage, their innovations and creativeness. So I'm going to share them with you today. So I'm not going to waste any more time, and I'm going to call on stage. Hi, Freda, and hi, Sheila. Welcome to.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Mughal. Thank
Hi.
you for thank you for the introduction. I was thinking, who's she talking about?
That's why, right?
Must be Sheila.
I know. I said, "Oh, that's Frida." I mean, why is she talking about me like that?
Oh my God. No. It's so difficult to contain this excitement. So I just backstage just now I was trying to act very professional. Now that I'm on live here, I'm just bubbling away. Anyway, I have tons of questions, and I'm sure the participants will have a lot of questions as well. So we won't waste time because we have 45 minutes to 1 hour, less than 1 hour to discuss as much as we can. So I'm going to start off with Sheila. Sheila, you have been in the career pathway for the last 30 years, right? You started as a teacher, then you went as a sales professional, then you went into journalism and then training, and now you have your own company called Human Equation, right? So I'm just curious to know all the steps in your journey. Were they accidental? Were you like, okay, I just got caught up in this, or was it an aligned decision? You knew your values, you know what you like, and then you jumped into it. Would you like to share that?
Okay. I would love to say that I planned all of this, but I didn't. Okay. I think it's just that inside of me, there's always been these amazing opportunities, career changes. And how do I know that it's time to switch careers is when I felt a stirring inside of me. I'm there. I'm done. I've learned what I can. I'm not satisfied here anymore. I need to go out there and try something else, achieve. So, and I always was a person, I've always been a person, don't wait until the opportunity comes to be ready. I always educated myself, equipped myself with the courses and all that. So when the opportunity came, I'm like, hey, I have the knowledge. I might not have all the skills can be acquired, at least as some working knowledge. So that gave me the courage to step out into different careers. But honestly, Mughal, it's a very frightening thing to step out of one area and into a new area that you've never tried before. But it's always a bit of faith and a lot of courage, and a bit sometimes, like they say, like naivety, because I'll just go and do it and then see, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's it. And what made me step out finally into my own business is I wanted freedom.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Since you mentioned the freedom, one phrase came to my mind, doing what you like is freedom, liking what you do is happiness. So you chose freedom. Did that lead to happiness?
I don't know about what people mean when they say happiness. For me, it's about happiness is a combination of many things. Happiness is a state. It's not a be all and end all destination that you go to. It's always finding the means to be happy wherever you are, whatever is going. In the middle of a pandemic, how to be happy? go, keep moving, do things. So for me, it's achievement, it's growth, it's joy, it's passion, it's learning. All of that, when I'm doing all of that, I'm happy. If I'm sitting down doing nothing, cannot grow, cannot study, cannot express myself, then maybe I might feel the semblance of dissatisfaction.
Okay, so
Tapwas hati lah.
achievement, tapwas hati, yeah. So for you, achievement, growth, and all these things make you happy. And did you get that in your entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial journey that you're doing, your training?
I think it goes back to values, Mogil. I am a person who believes strongly that we need to live by our values. And in order to do that, you first need to know what your values are, what drives you. So in the business that I'm in, I'm continuously use it as a coaching tool to help people. You're talking about an aligned life, right?
Yes.
So it's about aligning with, you need, first of all, in that life, you need to know what your life values are and align with them. So
Absolutely.
for me, so my values are growth, freedom, helping others, making a difference, all of that. So as long as I'm doing that, I would say I'm happy.
Yeah. That's precisely what aligned life is about, is being aligned with who you are, and not doing something because you need to do it, and then there's a conflict going on within you, and you're not going to progress anywhere. It's beautifully said. Freedom or happiness, whichever you choose, you define it, and then you move along with it. And if you can get your passion to work for you aligned with your values, then that's it. So that's very nicely said. Thanks a lot for that, Sheila. Freda, now I have to say something about you. 3 years ago, when I wanted to make the career change from being a doctor in a clinic, looking at patients, I wanted to come out, speak, and then share my experience and make more difference in more people's life. I actually approached 10 people. I picked them randomly from the MAPS, and also LinkedIn, and I sent out emails, right, to say that, tell them, please show me some way that I can move because I'm feeling stuck. And 10 emails, within 15 minutes, I got one reply. One person replied for the email, 9 didn't. And that one person did not only reply to one email, it was a chain of questions. I asked questions and immediately reply came. And that was you, Freda. It was the email from you. So I must take this opportunity to thank you, because that email gave me the confidence, like, yes, I have support. People will come out to help me if I make this move. And when I read your reviews about you, I read the reviews about you, and people said that you spread positivity and you're very, very generous. I have to agree, because I had a personal experience with that. So thank you.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. 3 years ago, it's a long due actually. So, Freya, you have interviewed 5,000 entrepreneurs, right? And your mission is to move the lady entrepreneurs to the next level. And you've written books about it, and you do this program, Enterprise. Amazing. So my question is, right, in corporate world, women, there is a pipeline pattern, right? You have these graduates who are more than the opposite sex, but when you look at the leadership, you don't see much. So my question is, in entrepreneurial aspect, do women face any specific challenge, gender specific? I'm not talking about gender inequality, I'm not talking about gender discrimination. Do women really have a hard way to advance in entrepreneurship?
Okay, I wrote that book, right, called Bursting Fixed Mindsets, and I spoke to women who have achieved R1 million in revenues and above, right? And I didn't want to go into the negativity. I want to go into how they thought differently, right? When you look at how women, a lot of things that is also societal, right? Where they have to take a pause because they're taking care of the kids, right? And it seems like the onus is always on the woman to do all these things, right? Now, is it societal? Is it also self-imposed? Right? That's also one thing, right? It's always, sometimes always my job, I'm the wife, I'm the what. So there's all that, right?
Mhm.
And do you decide to break the mold, or are you so worried about what people will think? That's also one thing that hampers a person's growth, right? So if you talk about entrepreneurs, so when I spoke to the women, I didn't want to talk about anything holding. I just want to talk about how they thought differently, right? And of course,
Mm.
people have different perceptions and how. And I didn't want to bring up about whether it was access to funding. That's also another thing that people talk about, but just the thinking that was different, right? And so I didn't want to broach the topic of did anything hold you back. I want to know what made you move forward, right? So a couple of things was like understanding, having a vision, knowing that you're going to go further, right? And they gave their stories about it, building a brand behind it. So a lot of the impositions I feel are sometimes self-imposed, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And again, right, do you have that? If you're married in a relationship, do you have equal partnership, right? In that one, is raising a family the equal responsibility of both, right?
Yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
and are you willing to make that conversation, have that conversation, right? So
Yeah.
so that's one thing. Mm,
Yeah, yeah. So mostly you're saying it's self-imposed. Self-imposed. We set our own boundaries, saying that I'm a wife, I'm a woman, and these are the things I need to do. And this dominant parent, right? So anything
mm,
happens to the child, the wife steps in. So we
right,
sort of want to create that. We give that. This is why I tell most women when they just get married, they want to be the perfect wife. So they give
right,
so much of space to the husband. I can do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll take care. And then when they want
yeah,
to go forward, they can't expect the spouse to immediately change the mindset because he's so
right,
used to being pampered and taken care at home.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Just to
right.
add on to that, right? Because you know how they did this study, right? A man will take on a job when they're 50%. They think they know they can handle the work, right? A woman won't take on that job until they feel they're 80 to 100% that I can fill all the roles, right? So this has been,
Mm,
I think it was HP that did the study, right? HP that did the study. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do a survey on that. So I'm sure that thinking also translates in the business space as well, right? Can I do this? Do I dare to take the risk? Am I 100% sure before I do it?
mm,
Whereas a man will be like, so there, and that also is how you were raised. How that whole, the boys are more daring than girls. Was that something
mm.
that was fed to us growing up as well? Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a quite a good observation. The perfectionism, is it the innate nature of every woman that you have to be perfect before you do anything? What do you think, Sheila? What do you
Mm.
think is the
You're asking me if that's what most women think, that they have to be perfect before they attempt something?
no, I'm asking you, what do you think when you have seen, you deal with mindsets as well, and you work with a lot of people, and
Mm,
you believe in human potential. I like
mm,
that. So
mm.
what differentiates in expressions of this potential between the male gender and the female gender?
I think very often, women are, even before they go out there into the workforce, they've already been put into some sort of box. I'll give you my own personal experience. Yeah. When I graduated from university, I never wanted to be a teacher. But my father said, go and do teaching because, it's a half day job and it's a good job for a woman so she can look after the children. And of course at that time I was young, and and of course the job market was not good, so do teaching you automatically get a posting. That's how I got stuck in it for 10, 12 years. I don't
Mm,
regret it, but the point is that kind of mindset is being fed to girls. You can't go and
Mm,
do work in an accounting firm, the big four, because the hours are grueling. You won't have time for family. You
mm,
can't go and do a certain type of medicine because you're on call all the time, like surgery or something, so you won't have time for the family. So why does a woman have to have time for the family and not the man? Why can't a man do? And today where everyone's working from home, why can't he stay at home and look after the children? So this kind of thing, it's a cultural thing that's being
yeah.
put into a lot of women, and women choose to embrace it, and mothers
Mm,
too encourage it. I stayed at home. I did a half day job, and I looked after all of you while your father was out there pursuing his career. So you must be like me. So it's called modeling. In
mm,
coaching and training, we model the role models lah. In our life, teachers, parents, and so on. Yeah.
yeah,
So we need to break free. We need to start teaching our young men and our young women otherwise.
yeah. That's right. We keep going back, like you said, remodeling our parents and our grandmas when we are supposed to be creating a norm that our children can follow. We
Mm.
want our daughters to be this independent person going out, no, really advancing in their career or whatever they want, they achieve. But we don't set that example by pulling ourselves back. So
Right.
I always tell my most ladies, step out of your parents' shoes and try to create this persona that your daughter or your son can follow. The
Mm.
change has to be there. So looking at mindset again, one we saw is perfectionism. Second is, of course, self-imposed responsibilities, like, yeah, I have to bear the whole burden, family burden on me. What else do you think the mindset issue which plays in this for a woman to advance? A lot of women get into entrepreneurship, but they like to stay small, they like to stay safe, they don't want to go out, they think, no, that's not my field. So what is holding them back, you think, Freda, or what can they do to break away from that?
Okay, so I read a lot of books, right? I read a lot of books. I read a lot of I always find that, back to what Sheila was saying, right? Who do you want a role model, right? And sometimes it may not be someone that you know personally, but the books that you read. Now, one of the books that I read is called Playing Big by Tara Moore, and that was such an eye-opening book, right? Because it came from an American woman who talked about the issues that women face, right? And we always play small. Right, again, everything we play small. We don't like to talk about the things that we've achieved. We don't like the ayo, and so what was so eye-opening was because it came from an American woman, because he thought it was an Asian issue. It's not. It's a global issue, right? It's a global issue that we don't know. If we've done something, and it's expected of a man to do a certain thing, right? And we applaud them, and we're so worried about. And I think it's because we get criticized, right? I think here's where women also criticize other women, the way you
Mm,
look, right? The way,
mm,
everything. So we get all that. So I think that is one. That's why you have to step away from that thinking and look. You really have to search for the positivity, right? You really have to make sure that you're out there searching for the positivity and not and not looking for the negativity. One of the things that the book talked about was called the good girl syndrome. And such an interesting phenomenon. When you go to school, right, you submit your homework to your teacher and they say, well done. They give you a report card back and say, well done, doc, you got an A+, right? And so you get recognized for your work, right? So when we go back into the workplace, right, we don't get that report card, right? So we don't get the report card that says "good girl, well done," right? And so we wonder, why is that happening, right? Why is no one giving me that achievement and recognition, right? Because it's not the same. The workplace is very different from school. So we're like, am I not good enough? Da da da. That comes in because of this good girl syndrome that was inbuilt in us, right? Or conditioned to us, aware. So when you're aware of all these things, right? What holds us back? You're intrigued. What can I do differently to break the mold? So I always go back to thinking, right? What is that thinking that needs to change, right? And of course, I did NLP as well, and then Sheila will know reframing your
yeah.
words, reframing your thoughts, right? And that's so important, right? I can't. Right, I
Mm,
can't do this too. How can I do this? Right, simple, a change in the
yeah.
phrase, and your mind opens up differently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Yeah. So it's all the thoughts, the changing, reframing, and then putting it into practice. What I realize now is changing this mindset. It's much easier than making them put it into action. So there's affirmations. They have affirmations. Everyone goes around saying, "I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm enough." But then, are they practicing it? Is what I don't see. So Sheila,
right.
you are NLP trainer, master practitioner. So what are the attitudes, more not so much thinking, what attitudes can they put into practice to get rid of all this jumbled up thoughts which is holding them back, basically?
I think before we can even get into an attitude of wanting to do things, going out there, breaking barriers, you need to break down the belief system that are entrenched in your mind. So many of us pick up limiting beliefs. So I give you one example. Speaking about what you were saying earlier, why do women not step out? All right,
Mm,
especially women in relationships, yeah, married, they're always told that, oh, you must never shine brighter than your husband.
Wow.
He cannot take it. No, the ego can't take it. So just subdue your light. So we all go. No matter how fantastic women are, they in a marriage, they won't go. They'll just keep them light hidden under a bushel. In the workplace, women are afraid to step up because I don't want to outshine my male bosses. I don't want to come out there. So the belief system, where did we get those belief systems from? So I'll just illustrate with a little thing, Mugil. We all think that, you might think that, oh, Sheila, you do NLP, you got it and train people, you don't have any limiting beliefs, you've sorted that out. Not true. Yesterday, I was having a little coaching session on social media on how to use Canva and TikTok and all that from Rosalind Das. You would know Rosalind Das. She's now my coach. And then I'm going back, no, Rosalind, I can't do this. I can't, I just can't do all this technical social media stuff. And then she looked at me and she said, where's that coming from? Because she's trained in NLP. She came to my class. She said, where's that coming from? So the student became the teacher. And I said, oh my God. It came from a belief that I had when I was in university doing mathematics and we had to go and do computer programming. And I said, I can't do this. Right? So that belief was entrenched in me. So she helped me to get rid of it yesterday. And today I was like rolling on Canva and posting stuff on Facebook just in a matter of one day, 24 hours. So giving you that as an example, Mugil, we've got so many entrenched beliefs inside of us that one by one need to be dismantled. Once those are dismantled, you don't even have to worry about attitude, because attitude comes from what we believe. From our cultural beliefs, our beliefs formed from experience. You went up on stage once to do a public speaking in school. You stuttered, everyone laughed at you, you forgot your lines. After that, you say, I can't do public speaking.
True. That's very true. Everything I can agree with you. My mother wanted me to be a teacher because it's half day work. But now I'm seeing teachers work much longer than a doctor does. All right. So half day work. Don't outshine your husband. You cannot. You must find a profession which you have to play it. You have to be the second person always, right? And even if don't talk, don't say anything, just keep quiet. All this. And one of the biggest limiting belief I had was my English in school was terrible, right? Because we spoke Tamil at home, and then most of my friends were Malay. One of the English teachers actually told me, you're hopeless, literally hopeless at Form 2. And it's stuck in my head till now. So even when I have to write or when I have to speak, the first thing which comes is her face, right? So I really had to work on that. And I had to tell myself, it's not happening now. Let me see what I can do with what I have. So that's when I started coming out. I start speaking, I start writing. So all of us have limiting belief. And like you said, it's never going to be a time when you're completely free of these beliefs, but you got to be aware and keep working on it. Having said that, Freda, in your book, in your skin, right, you mentioned about women embracing them wholly, right? However they are, their uniqueness, and being happy, joyful, and that's exactly what aligned life is: to be happy, healthy, and harmony, in peace with yourself, right? So you have mentioned that. And now, in this day and era, social media is the way, right, to put your business, to put yourself, and then there comes this image issue. I am not like this, I'm not like that. So in your book, you have explained it beautifully. Would you like to share with us, like, how can women pass that?
What did I write in my book?
So many books to go.
Okay. That gives me a confidence, because I read it some time ago. So you said mind, body, soul, you have to be aligned. You have to listen to the inner voice. Right?
Okay. Such wisdom.
Can you write to me?
Okay. So you're right. Okay, so go. So yeah, align, right? So anyway, actually, I have to say, when you have issues with self-limiting beliefs, seek for a coach like Sheila Singham. I sat down with Sheila. I have sat down with Sheila. We have gone through some things in the last 5 years. To tell you the truth, there was a self-limiting belief that came about, and I want to say this as well, right? Just before I get into about how this all comes into harmony, is that you can pick up rubbish at any time in your life. It wasn't anything that was said to me in my childhood that I couldn't do this, So my childhood was, everything was always, it was fine, but a self-limiting belief can be picked up along the way, and sometimes just something that happens that you can say to yourself, boom, right? And I had to go through a process with Sheila and sit down and go through that. And that was a phrase which 5 years ago, I'm not good enough. Right. And that was just 5 years ago that I had to go through this. And I think, and along the way as well, as like, Sheila, I talked about, I'm roadblock, I need to meet up with you. And I would do that. Right. And so that's why you need help, right? When you find the roadblock. So I think like one of the things is like, we're all made to be different, right? And I said we're all made to be different. We all don't come in a size 2, size 4, whatever, right? But so long as that whole idea of what you're meant to do, right? Because in that book I interviewed people like Heidi Kwa, who's going through some crap right now, right? And that
Yeah.
was what she was called to do, right? To help. Right? Jocelyn, I wrote about Jocelyn, but I wrote about Sheila in that book as well, right? But I wrote about Jocelyn, right? And who does work for the homeless, right? And to me, that is success. Okay, because they have found their thing, right? I know my thing is communication, right? I know my thing is communication, and it comes in many forms as well. I was just talking to someone today, and I was like, this whole idea of how we should really self-disrupt ourselves before we self-destruct, and that is a constant process for me to
Yeah.
self-disrupt, right?
Yeah.
To just
Yeah.
always be looking out there. But but okay, that is, I know my values, I know what will keep me going, that kind of thing. But also then understand, and then like, so we women put these judgments on how they look. Unfortunately, it's more the women than the men, right? And that's the reality. The
Yeah.
judgment and all that comes to the women. So you've got to learn to switch it off, then change to another channel, right? And just ignore that, right? And surround with yourself with people who are, who is at your level or higher, right, in their thinking, right? And you've got to, if people are dragging you down, and there are people who zap my energy, I don't, I'm friendly, but I do not want to spend too much time with a person like that that's going to take me down. It's a conscious effort. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
your relatives.
And, but
Yeah.
and the pandemic has helped, isn't it? Right?
Right.
The
Right.
Actually,
So,
pandemic has helped.
mm,
yes, pandemic actually,
so
yeah, it forced us into
mm,
something that we wouldn't have done otherwise. I think most of
right,
us,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
So that's the thing. So the image factor, it's still there.
mm,
It's still there,
mm,
and you know, even now, before when I make a video, I'll make the video, and then I realize I'm looking at a different angle, and I look like a chipmunk. Then I will go and redo redo the video, but much better now,
mm,
because
right.
I realize that people want to see the authentic you. They want to see you with
Yes.
all your faults, and
Yes.
that's what makes you more approachable and connected.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. So we're talking about success. You said redefine your success. That's what basically you meant. You
Mm,
redefine your success and you
mm,
live in that way. So, like, I
mm,
read one post by Sheila today. You said there's something about when someone buys your work, right?
My
It's the
art.
joy and the achievement. I can really relate to that. So, how would you define success, Sheila?
Success is never about the money. Yeah? It's not about how much money you make. I'm looking at Jeff Bezos now. I don't see him as a success. He'll never be a role model. He's one of the richest men in the world. Instead of using that money to help people out there who are starving, he took and used it to go to space. All right. So for me, that's not success. Lah. Success for me, okay, I don't know how it is for anybody else. Success for me is Mugil. I always say, look at what people are going to be saying when you die.
right.
All
Okay.
right. What are people going to be saying about you when you die? What mark did you leave in the lives around you, in the world in which you lived in, the community you lived in? How many people did you touch, whether by a conscious decision or whether inadvertently? Who are you? How authentic are you? And when people look at you and they're not going to say, what is the real Sheila Singham? They know that what you see is what you get. Okay, for me, success is never about making enough money to buy that big mansion and those big cars and all the designer things. That's fine. To have all of that is good. I mean, I have some of those, but the point I'm saying is never to pursue that. It's always to ask yourself, what is your purpose in being here? and to fulfill that purpose and to live out that purpose. And when you live out that purpose, and then that's success. If you ask me, Jocelyn Lee, she you spoke about her earlier, Frida. She gave up a well-paying corporate job. She was high flying.
Mm,
She gave it
mm.
up to go and start Pit Stop Cafe, and now she's rallying around communities, feeding communities. She's there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of tiredness, but that fulfillment she's getting inside, for me, that is success. So success is what you need to ask yourself, what is your measure of success? And for
Right.
Yes.
me, it's never about what you acquire. It's about
And
what you live. What footprint are you leaving in the earth? A permanent footprint.
and then I just want to add on to that, Sheila. What Jocelyn does, what Heidi does, right? That's their calling, right? So we of
Mm.
course also cannot say, I wish I was more like that, right? I mean, we all want to be, but also understand, like, we're called to do certain things. Yes, of course, give to the community, but you'll know certain things will just will call out to you more, right? Okay, I know. So we'll sort of is more aligned with what you want to do, right? I mean, I do some things with like I know, like I do some work with World Vision and all that, right? But it is like how that aligns with what I am affiliate, what I feel connected to, right? So it's going to be different for different people. You applaud these people, you support whatever they can, but we're also called to do different things as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right about that, Frida. I mean, everybody wants to be the Frida Liu. Okay, at one point, like, you want to be the Frida Liu, but the Frida Liu's got a calling that you might not have. Sheila Singham's got a different calling, and Dr.
Mm.
Mugil's got a different calling, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
people don't see the hard work the Frida Liu puts into, in to get to
Where
being
she is.
all the things that she is today. There's a lot of work put in. There's a lot of passion and a desire to go out there and make a bet. Nobody knows all the altruistic things that she does behind the scenes, huh? So it's
Mhm.
all that,
Mhm.
what, Frida, she looks so glamorous and speaks on radio, such a glamour job, writes books, does this. So I think we should never compare ourselves with others,
Yeah.
right? We should
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
compare ourselves with ourselves, always to
Mm,
be the better version of who I can be, rather than trying to be someone else.
yeah.
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 Yeah. You can get inspired, but you don't have to be that person, right? You
Mm,
look at them, you pick up things. See, this is what happens. 90% of startups collapse before the first 5 years because they
mm,
come in thinking to be like somebody, right? They have all the backup, they have the business plan, they have everything, but they have never aligned it with what is it that they really want, what is their definition of success. So that's what
mm.
this align. You have to align whatever you're going to do. You have to see whether is this me, is this
Yeah.
what I am, not okay, I'm going to be like that person, I'm going to write 6 books, 7 books. Yeah, but what kind of books are you going to write? You can't
Mm,
simply write any
mm.
books. You have to have it from inside. So that's a very, very something that everybody needs to know. They have their purpose, they have their calling, they have their innate nature, that something wants to come out through
Mm.
what you do. But the question now is, how do they find this out? Freda or Sheila, whoever,
Oh,
how do
yeah.
people know, like, how do I know? You talk to anybody, like, I don't know, I just want to make money. Money is everything, but money is not everything.
Ah.
Yeah. How do they know? How do you teach these people, like, go this way? And when you are in alignment, when you are moving who you are, everything else is just, comes in. Side effects, money, happiness, abundance, everything comes in.
You want to go first, Frida?
No,
You want
I
me to go
let
first?
Sheila go for. Yeah.
Yeah, always do that. Okay, so now
Okay, shall I put Hayden instead?
first of all, you have to ask yourself, whatever you're doing, we're talking about career, business here. You've got to ask yourself,
Okay.
whatever you're doing, is it making you feel fulfilled or not?
Mm,
Is that part of your passion? Do you get up every morning saying, wow, I'm so excited to get to work? And do you, at the end of the day, feel good and fulfilled about what you've done? If you haven't, then you cannot remain there for the rest of your life, because you're going to become bitter and unfulfilled. You will not leave your mark on the earth. Okay. And so, for me personally, that's why I made all those career changes. I was a teacher. Okay. I did not enjoy teaching in a school. I love the kids. I love teaching them. I love inspiring them. I taught mathematics. And I had a lot of fun with the kids, but I just needed to get out of there after a while. So I went and did sales. And then that was okay, lah, I'm making some money, but where am I going with that? So I went into training for a while. And then I wanted to go into journalism. I wanted to write. So I went, it's the calling. In a way, different and the calling, different times of your life, there might be different things that call to you. So you need to have the courage. And for me, the defining moment that the defining book that I read, and I've quoted this so many times before, it's Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by
Right.
Susan Jeffers, right? It's just like normally we say, okay, we feel fearful. When we overcome the fear, then go and do. It's not like that. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. And in
Yes,
that book, she said there are no wrong decisions.
absolutely.
They're just point A. It's like a jalan, you go here, it doesn't jalan, patah balik and take another road. So there are no wrong decisions. I thought perfect. So I'll make this career change. If it doesn't work out, I go back lah. And then I'll make the other career change. If it doesn't work out, I go back because I already have the skill sets. All right. So that's the thing. Now during the pandemic, you had so many people who got stuck, cannot jalan in the career, business and all that. What did they do? They found a passion. I just talked to two people today on my little platform earlier today. They
Yes,
were
I was
in,
here.
yeah, you were listening. Yeah. So they were
Yeah.
in what you call it, business. No events. What they did, they pivoted into the food business because they love business. So for me, it is a connection of your passion, your calling, connect those, and you would have found your place. And I think
Okay.
all three of us in this platform are a testimony to that. It may
Absolutely.
have
Right.
happened late in life, it doesn't matter. But of
Yeah.
course, the earlier you can, listen to yourself, listen to your heart, listen to your conscience, listen to that inner man telling you, I want to do something else, and go and do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I got some time to think of my answer, right? Okay, that was me stalling. But no, but seriously, I'll share this a little bit with my own life journey, but I want to ask you all as well. This very and life gives you clues. What were you good at when you were young? What was such a natural thing for you, right? Was such a natural thing for you, and you did, and these are the clues where you're when I look at my son, he's naturally very good at drawing, right? So and so it seems so easy for him. So I said there is a gift that has been given to you. Okay, this so when I was young, I realized, I look back, I love taking part in debates. I love drama. I love, that whole thing about speaking. But, like, what kind of career can you get out of that? I did my degree in marketing, right? And then I was thinking, okay, do I want to go into advertising or PR? So I did very well in both those subjects. And I didn't go into advertising because I didn't want, because in advertising, okay, so just backtrack a bit. Advertising, you're either in client servicing, you're either in creative and you want, and I said, but I want to do all of it. I love the whole aspect of all that. So in PR, you actually go out and meet the client, you get the brief, you come up with a proposal, you execute the brief, you write the news release, you come up with a creative. So I wanted to do that, right? Now, that was it, right? Now, how I accidentally got into broadcasting, it is divine. Okay. It is divine. And it was something that I fought back for. So all this while, when I had a full-time job in PR and IBM and all that stable job kind of thing, I was a part-time TV newsreader. And how I got into that was, again, a story for another day. Like, one day you have a divine, divine, divine
Divine intervention.
intervention show. We'll go into that, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, that came, and then it's so I was great job working in IBM, taking care of my son, working. And then when BFM came about, it just hit me because it was a combination of all the skills. Like, and I've always wanted to join radio, but I didn't want a station that was music and like you know what I mean? I get, no offense, people in it. There was just not, I didn't see the longevity of it. But here was this station, which meant a 30% pay cut, but it was something that called out to me because it was the use of my broadcasting skills, the use of my corporate skills, and then I could combine it. And this was an unproven thing 12 years ago, right? And so but it was just an urge to join the station, this unproven thing. It's not a new technology. Radio wasn't new, but there was never been one that was it, right? But then I look back, and sometimes, like, you look back and like, okay, he pushed me in that way as much as I didn't want to, but he's always pushed me that way. But nothing was wasted, right? My corporate life wasn't wasted. I enjoyed what I was doing there as well. And this is not the final journey, right? Where I
Mm.
am right now, it's not my final journey. It's not like I have arrived because I'm still
Yeah.
growing and looking at other things. Who knew I'd be writing books, right?
Mm,
But I love writing when I was young. So look at these clues
mm,
and see where you can build up on these things that you've been gifted with.
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's
I want
beautiful.
to add something there, Mughal, if I may. You
Mm.
don't have to just do one thing, you know. People
Mm,
like Frida, people like me, people like you, we are what the new generation, they call them multi-hyphenates, the hyphenate
mm,
professional.
mm.
You
Yeah.
are a doctor, you are a specialist in menopause issues, you are a now you're doing coaching training, and look at Frida, the page also not
But
enough space to write all her accolades. So
yeah. Yeah.
you just absorb knowledge, use it. And if you look at all our lives, okay, go and look at how to connect the dots, as Frida said. All the
Yeah.
Yes.
things you're good at, all the things you love to do, all the things that by divine intervention come there, put it all together and then make that decision. But never ever be afraid.
I
Yeah.
want to add on to that again, Sheila, because we both did this course together last year called Design
Yeah,
Thinking, right?
yeah.
And design
Oh yes.
thinking is
Okay.
so brilliant, right? The whole
Mm,
idea behind design thinking, if you were to apply your life like a product,
mm.
it's called a prototype, right? You try
Yes,
something, it doesn't work, try something else,
Yeah.
lah.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
You improve on that product.
Yes,
That's it.
yeah.
Yes. See, that's it's so it resonates. So I feel so free now because I am a multi. My interest can just jump from here to there. It's more like I want to explore what is it. What does it do to me? How
Mm,
do I? Why am I attracted to that? So when I was a doctor for 20 years, it actually restricted me in so many ways because as a doctor you're supposed to do this, right? But the
mm,
nagging behind you, like, no, you have to do something more, you have to do something more. And then you keep telling, no, how can a doctor go and talk? What do I talk about? I don't want to
mm,
talk about medicines and disease because that doesn't fascinate me so much, right? But then when you listen to it and you just make a small move, right? And then it just comes and makes things happen for you, doors open. You just got to fearlessly embrace that opportunity. Like what Sheila said, feel the fear and do it anyway, because on the other side of the fear is all the solutions. And it
Mm,
might work, might not work, but even if it doesn't work, it will push you in another way, which will work for you. It's just a
right,
journey that we are taking. It's not a destination. The destination doesn't matter. The
right.
entrepreneurship is a journey. For me, my entrepreneurial, I've never thought in million years a doctor would be talking about entrepreneurship. But
Mm,
when I started my practice, it was an accident. It was my last choice. Like, okay, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do this because of all
mm,
those responsibilities. I'm a doctor, right? But I still had this. I have to be this kind of wife. I have to be this kind of mother. If something happens
mm.
to my children, I have to be available. So I took a back seat. Nothing was imposed on me. My husband was very supportive, but I did it.
Good daughter-in-law.
good Indian daughter, good Indian woman.
Yeah, but you do all that to get that name. Yeah, you're a good wife,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're not happy even when you get it, because that's not you, that's not what you want to
Mm,
do.
mm,
So then,
mm,
to push yourself to be here to do. I love meeting people, and my strength was always speaking. I become a different person when I'm on stage. But
mm,
the doctor profession didn't give me that opportunity, but MCO pushed me. It's literally pushed me, like, okay,
mm.
go, have to embrace this, you can't wait anymore. So yeah, that's it. So self-awareness, and then listening to that small voice, being fearless. It's okay to have multiple interests, because sometimes I feel like, jack of all trades, master of none.
Hey, no, I don't agree with that. You see, that's again another belief that somebody went and said
Ah,
because they were
Yeah.
jealous of other people acquiring all these talents and skills. Say, hey, no, jack of all trades, a master and a rolling stone gathers no moss. I think we are
Yes,
all
yes.
stones that went to different gardens and we gathered a heck of a lot of moss. So here's the thing: something that you said struck me just now, Mughal. It's that stirring that's going on inside of you. that sort of discontent with where you are, that is a
Mm.
sign that you need to move.
Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have to just listen to it. And yeah, so what, we have a lot of interest. Again, it's your life, it's a life journey. And well, travel wherever you want. And then if you don't like it, come back, keep moving. So yeah, that's amazing. So we are nearly at the end, but I just want to get one golden tip from each one of you for the new young entrepreneurs who are getting into entrepreneurship. What do you think is the basic knowledge they should have? Frida first, then Sheila.
Oh, basic knowledge they should have before they go into entrepreneurship. I think like when you go into entrepreneurship, I know everybody, when you're driven by money again, I know, yes, that is a great thing. But if you are very clear about why you're starting something, right? Why do you think what problem are you trying to solve? Are you very clear about that, right? I think that is the when I'm just looking at my Malik Ali, who started the station. When he started the station, he said it was about building first world mindsets, right? For people to have discussion about things, and to have that discussion to and fro, and not make it, the third time somebody replies, it has to be a 4-letter word, right? So that we will have, we're able to discuss things different, and that attracted me, right, to what his vision and what he wanted to do. And that I believe that Malaysians can rise to that. So when you start a business, I think you got to be very clear, what is it that you're trying to achieve, what problem you're trying to solve, and how you are taking the or how you're taking your business, right? Because that's going to attract the right people, the right kind of customers, the right kind of people that will want to join you. I think that's important, right?
Yeah,
So if it's money alone, you're going to attract people who like money, but at
yeah,
what cost lah, right?
yeah. Right.
Mm,
Sheila.
Well, I agree with Frida. You don't start a business just for money and to survive. I know it's
mm,
like some people will say that, hey, is this pandemic? We all have to survive. Yes, true.
mm,
But whatever channel you find to survive, to make that money, it's got to be something that really you're passionate about, that appeals with to you, that resonates with you. Don't just go and start a business blind without knowing your market,
mm,
without knowing whether that product you want to sell on e-commerce, because someone told you e-commerce can make a lot of money. My friend in the
Mm.
US made millions, so you also want to do. Whether that product's going to work in which market, you got to study your market. You got to study the demographics of your audience, whatever business you're doing. You got to, for me, I always tell myself, whatever you are doing, you got to endeavor to give the best to your clientele. That means you need to be the best version of yourself. All right.
Beautiful.
You need to consistently iterate and reinvent yourself to keep getting better and better and better. Now, a lot of people have said to me, Sheila, when are you going to retire? I'm like, probably when I'm standing in front of an audience and I drop dead, that's when I'll retire. Why retire?
Yeah.
I want to
Why?
keep learning. I want to keep doing new things. Mukil,
Exactly.
last year I started art. Okay.
Yes,
And then
yes.
mm,
I've turned it into business. And that again is a belief where somebody told me you cannot do art to save your life, and I decided to go against it. So there will be people out there who will tell you, oh, cannot lie, you're not good enough, you can't do, you don't have an entrepreneurial bone in your body. Whatever dreams you have, whatever you want to start, go and share it with like-minded people who will build you up and who will lift you up. Talk to Dr. Mugil, okay? Don't go and talk to the
mm,
uncles and aunties all out there who never tried entrepreneurship and they will discourage you. Do not go to talk to the naysayers. Okay, surround yourself with people who will lift you up, who will help you to fuel your dreams. And it's okay to have some crazy dreams, like I want to be crazy big, but start small lah. Don't straight
Yeah.
away want to aim there. Start
That's right.
small, one step at a time. Okay, and feel the fear and just do
Do
it.
it anyway. Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. I always think we are like birds. Like, have you seen a bird fly? It flaps its wings, gets the thrust, and once it's in the air, it's one with the
Yeah.
whole universe. It looks so effortless, but it's changing. It's changing its bearing. It's changing its wings, but it's
Yeah.
so beautifully gliding. So we have to understand ourselves first, and then you must know and create the positive group and resources around you, and you must know what you're getting yourself into and be ready to do the work. Then you step into anything, and there's nothing which can stop you, because if you don't have the fear, you don't have the doubt, you've already worked that all that out, you're just going to go, I'm just going to explore. And then what's going to hold you back? So yeah, so there's an
Every
amazing session, Freda and Sheila. I can go on. Yeah, go ahead, Sheila. Don't
I
worry.
just want to
No, I was
say
just saying I
to
can go on talking to you.
I just want to say that each of us have got talents inside of us. We've got
Yes.
the seeds of greatness inside of us. It's whether we believe and we want to take the initiative to develop it. It's whether we want to step out of our comfort zones to go out there. And there are no quick fixes. You cannot get rich quickly. There's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of planting a lot of seeds and plowing through it before you can get that harvest. So if you want to do quick rich and all that,
Yeah.
all right. And most of all, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah. There's no shortcut to success or happiness. It's what you create and you define. So thank you so much, ladies. If you let me, I can keep asking you questions. I still have a lot of long list, but we are nearly the
And man,
time there.
round two another day.
Round two.
Oh, great. I was just about to put the idea forward. So now we have round two coming soon, another day. Thank you so much, ladies. And thank you so much for all the viewers who have been with us. Listen to these stories. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Listen to these stories, be inspired, but create your own stories. Do not
Yeah.
copy. Right. So excellent. Thank you so much. And so you're going to sign off till the part two of this meeting soon. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Mogil. Bye,
Have a good
Frida.
weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Leaving studio.
Studio.
Okay. Bye bye. Okay.